All right, here's another question. This follower wants to know how the apostles all died. James, he was killed by the sword. The apostle Paul, beheaded. Peter was crucified upside down. Matthew was martyred in Ethiopia, killed by a sword. He was boiled in a huge basin filled with oil. John was almost martyred. He was actually boiled in a huge basin of boiling oil. This happened during the persecution in Rome. However, he was miraculously delivered from death. He was then sentenced to prison in Patmos. This is where he wrote the prophetic book of Revelation. After his imprisonment, he was later freed and continued his life in Turkey. Well, in modern-day Turkey. He died an old man and lived peacefully. James, the brother of Jesus Christ, wasn't officially an apostle, but he was a leader of the church in Jerusalem. He was thrown over from the top of a temple, over 100 feet down. This happened when he refused to deny his faith in Christ. He actually survived that fall, but those that threw him over ended up beating him to death. Some scholars say that this happens to be the same pinnacle that Satan had tempted Jesus when he told Jesus to throw himself off of the temple. This happened at the time that Jesus was tempted by Satan. Bartholomew, also known as Nathaniel, he ended up becoming a missionary in Asia. He was martyred for preaching in Armenia. He was flogged to death. Flogging means like being whipped. That's how he died. Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross. This happened in Greece. 7 soldiers whipped him severely and tied his body to the cross with several swords. They did this to prolong his agony. But listen, none of this is important. Let me explain why. It doesn't matter how they died. What matters is that they were willing to die for their faith. This all proves the resurrection. If the disciples didn't witness the resurrection, they wouldn't be so willing to die for Christ. They would have been the first ones to know if it was true or not. And because they witnessed it, they witnessed his actual resurrection, his physical resurrection, we're all willing to die for it. People are not willing to die for what they believe is a lie or for what they know is a lie. The fact that all of the apostles were willing to die a horrible death, refusing to renounce their faith, is evidence that they witnessed the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So be in peace. As you see, being in Christ is so much to look forward to. It absolutely means that there is nothing to fear. So I hope this answers your question.